All right, welcome in Old Dominion. After all the buildup this past week, there's really nothing else to say. We've heard it all. Now it's time. Let's go out to UNC Charlotte, ODU versus Western Kentucky in the Famous Toastery Bowl. ODU, here come the Monarchs. And listen, they came out fast at the beginning of this game. Grant Wilson in the first quarter, going to fake the handoff, explode out of the pocket and down the middle of the field. Nobody's going to catch him. He actually stumbles and then gets caught up to, which would set up points for ODU. And the defense for the Monarchs, he's all over Turner Helton, causing him just absolute misery in the pocket. And welcome back Lamarion James with the scoop. What a moment. Been injured and comes back and does that, and it equals more points for ODU. Wilson hands it off to Kadarius Callaway, who punches it into the end zone. ODU just kept on pouring it on. Here's another defensive highlight for the Monarchs. How about this? A pick six by Chris Kane. Gonna take it back. ODU went up 28-0 at one point, and they were up 21 points going into the fourth quarter. The fans couldn't believe it. At one point, ESPN had ODU at a 99% chance to win the game. Grant Wilson strutting into the end zone, just pouring it on. But the Hilltoppers came back in wild fashion. Enter Caden Veltkamp, a redshirt freshman who coming into today only had taken 8 snaps in his whole college career. One-handed snag for Dalvin Smith into the end zone for the touchdown. Veltkamp had 383 yards and 5 touchdowns. None more important than this. Fourth quarter, fourth down, 40 seconds to go. Tie game. We are going to overtime. ODU can't believe they're going to overtime. You have to score in overtime in order to win the game. Wilson at the 2-yard line takes it himself, gets stuffed on third down by that Hilltopper defense. So Coach Ronnie going to go in the bag of tricks and call for a field goal. Ethan Sanchez was 0 for 3 from field goal today. Yeah, this one hurts the most. WKU, Western Kentucky, they block the kick. Fans, they cannot believe it. All they needed was a field goal to win the game. They drill it. 24 unanswered points, the 4th largest bowl comeback in FBS history. Western Kentucky wins 38-35. Again, the players couldn't believe it. Fans couldn't believe it. Coach Ronnie couldn't believe it. Craig Loper and Brian Parsons were in Charlotte to watch it all unfold in person. Yeah, they couldn't believe it either.
The 2023 ODU football season ends in a 3rd straight walk-off. However, Monday night in Charlotte, it doesn't go the way of the Monarchs, and Western Kentucky wins 38-35 here in the Famous Toastery Bowl. ODU fails to get a 7th win on the season. ODU fails to get a 2nd bowl game win in program history. Brian Parsons has been around this program for a long, long time. Where does this one stack up in terms of wild finishes?
Well, this was definitely a wild one. When Old Dominion is up 28-0, everybody thinks, all the Old Dominion fans think they're going to run away with this one. But in 2018, Old Dominion trailed a North Texas team and came back to win that ball game. So this was one of those situations where Old Dominion wasn't able to hold on. And in the post-game press conference, I asked Ricky Ronnie and the players if there was some complacency after going up 28-0.
I don't know if there was complacency or, we just, we just couldn't get into a rhythm there after a while, and it felt like we were always, one play off. We were 1 yard off, one broken tackle off from getting it going on offense. We were always, one missed tackle or one missed assignment on defense. If you get 2 kicks blocked, that's going to be inexcusable. Especially one that, would have put the game essentially away.
So now 11 one-score games for Old Dominion, which is by far the most in FBS football this season.
Scanning the crowd on the home side of here at Jerry Richardson Stadium, a lot of Monarchs fans made the trip. Dejection and confusion, the words that come to mind when I was getting shots of them in my camera. As you can imagine, this collapse, something that was very tough to take, and now they have a long trip back to Hampton Roads or wherever they came from.
They do have a long trip back, but you have to consider this is a team that did go to a bowl game, 3rd ever bowl game in program history. And after the game, I asked Coach Ronnie and the players, what are they going to remember most about this year's version of Old Dominion?
As a team, I'm probably going to think about how resilient they were and how I personally wish I could have found a way to, come up with 12 more plays that maybe would have won us, 3, maybe 4 more games.
We started off with a bunch of, different people to begin the season with. Fall camp, you were just meeting people. You were meeting new transfers. But at the end of the year, I could say that we're a family.
On the Western Kentucky side of things, I asked Coach Helton after the game why he went for the extra point instead of the 2-point conversion on that final touchdown in regulation. He said he felt like Western Kentucky had all the momentum in the world.
Good point.
And that he went for the tie to go to overtime. And if Old Dominion had scored first in overtime and Western Kentucky scored a touchdown after that, then he would have gone for the 2-pointer and the win. Right. But Western Kentucky clearly dominated the second half when they made the quarterback switch. 91 plays to 52 in favor of Western Kentucky. That's hard for Old Dominion to overcome.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to remember most from this game, 2 block kicks, a missed field goal, and critical penalties for Old Dominion throughout this game, especially the second half that ended up being the thorn in the side of ODU. For Brian Parsons, I'm Craig Loper. We've been in Charlotte a few days. We're heading home for the Sports Wrap.